Hi children, hope you're fine and doing well. I'm teacher Annabelle Richards. We're in science right away. Get organized, get your notebook as usual, your pencil and pen. And we start off. Keep the gadgets silent and we get off. Now today we are still looking at the flowering plants. Remember last time we looked at the roots, but today we are going to be looking at the stems. And remember I told you that we are going to be looking at most of these parts specifically. We saw the roots, now we are looking at the stem. But before we look at them, I remember left with that simple activity. So we want to get our pencils and we mark. The first question is there. What type of root system do mangoes have? So the mangoes are trees, and most of trees, they possess which type of root system? Taproot system. You mark yourself. Question 2, to name one plant with fibrous root system. Fibrous root system, still remember what they look like? They don't go deep in the soil, they are shallow. They are normally found in grass, normally found in cereals, maize, barley, wheat, millet, sorghum. If you mention any of that, good. Question 3, how are roots useful to a cassava plant besides sucking water amino salts? Remember, soil roots have got several functions. Now, how does a cassava make use of these roots besides helping to suck water amino salts? What did you write there? You could have written for me, cassava uses them to store food. So, used for storing food for cassava. That's good. Then question 4, why do maize plant develop prop roots? Prop roots, they give extra support to the maize plant. And lastly, how are roots useful to man? Roots have got several uses to man. And one of them we said, they can be eaten, so they provide food. 2, we say they can also be sold and we get money. And 3, can also get medicine out of them, so they provide herbal medicine. Did you get all of them right? Wonderful. Did you fail one? Good. If you failed more than one, also do collection. So my children, today I've already mentioned if you're looking at the stems. In fact, unfortunately, I've even moved out there and get for me one good stem from a plant. So we are going to see what a stem is. 2, we shall look at the parts of a stem. And 3, what are the function of the stem to the plant. And then so 4, we shall look at the uses of stems to animals, just like we saw for the roots, what roots are and all that kind of thing. So this time we are looking at the stem specifically. So by the end of this lesson, you should have achieved all this. And you must be knowing clearly what a stem is, the parts of a stem, the function of a stem to plants, and then to animals. So quickly, can you define a stem? So what do you think a stem is? So write for me something very fast down in your notebook and tell me what a stem is. I'm giving less than 10 seconds. 6 to go. 4, 2, 1. Fine. We're defining a stem here. Let's go to it together here. We're saying a stem is the part of the plant with buds on it. I know you could have written the part of the plant that grows above the soil. Fine, it could also be fair, but the best answer is going to be this one. It's the part of a plant with buds on it. Now, the stem is the part of the plant which usually grows vertically towards light, right? Now, a plant developed 3 types of buds. You saw them in the structure, remember? Now, the 3 types of buds of a flower of the plant are: 1 is what we call the flower buds, is what we call the axillary buds, and is what we call the terminal buds. The flower buds develop into flowers. The terminal buds will develop into leaves and the stem. And the axillary buds develop into leaves and branches. Remember, some I told that the terminal bud can also increase the height of a plant. But also the terminal buds will develop into the leaves and the stem later on. Then the axillary bud will develop into leaves and branches. Right, my children? The flower bud develop into flowers. So whatever flower is on a plant over there is actually coming from what we call the flower buds. Good. So you have already known what a stem is as a part of a plant with buds. The part of the plant with buds. Now, why am I sticking to that one? Because you are going to find out later on that some stems actually found underground. Okay? So if you are going to be sticking and say, there's a part of the plant that's above the ground, fine. Not all of them are actually above the ground. There are those which are found under the ground. But all of them, they have got what we call the buds. So good, children. Now, you can have a look at this. You see? This is actually a vertical stem, upright stems. So this could be a tree. The other one you can see there. You see that one? That's our plant over there. And the red marking you see over the highlights, they are showing us the part of the plant which is actually above the ground. but we shall later on see. Now, for us, we are in P6. We are going to look at details of all these terms here. So what you are seeing here, I'm trying to show you what a stem actually would definitely look like. So the red highlights you are seeing over there, they are showing us that that is the stem, part of the plant that's above the ground, part of the plant that's above the ground. This is the picture here of the stem here, and so on. You can see the sugar cane here. You see the stem here. What you're eating actually is the stem. Fine. Now our next question, children. What are the parts of the stem? Can you write any part of the stem you know? 5 seconds enough for you to do that. Over. Let's go together here. So stem has got several parts, as you can see. The terminal bud, the growing tip of the plant. But remember I told you the terminal bud, what does it do? It can also grow into a new stem and so on. We have a part called the axil. This is the angle between each leaf and the stem. So the angle between the leaf and the stem is what we call the axil. Then we have got a bud that grows between there. That bud is what we call the axillary bud. This bud, I've already told that it grows into a branch or the leaf and so on. Then we have a part called a node. A node, not anode. These are two different. A node. Now this is the part of the stem where a leaf is fixed. We saw it in the structure. Then we have the internode. This is the distance between two nodes. So all these parts, terminal bud, axial, axillary bud, node, and internode, are parts that make up a stem. At least we must be having at least 4 of them, if you have already noted them down. Then you can see here, I know some of you want to pass through the screen and you want to eat my plant here. What is that? That's a sugar cane. And you can showing us clearly some of the two parts. So we have got here the node, we have got the distance between two nodes we call the internodes, and so on. So sugar cane actually can bring out clearly what we are talking about here. Now our next session, children, we shall look at the use of stems to a plant. And I've already discussed them earlier on. Can you write for me any function of a stem to a plant? 10 seconds are enough for you to do that for me. 7, 8, 9, 10. You can see I've got a lot of them here. A lot of them, which maybe some of them we didn't know. Let's go through together. It spaces the leaves so that they can receive adequate air and sunlight. We saw that on the other picture. 2, it holds the flower and the fruits for proper pollination and dispersal. The word pollination, what does that mean? That's the transfer of pollen from the anther to the stigma of a flower on a plant. We learned about that also in P4. Then the word dispersal, the scattering of seeds from the parent plant over a wider area. So the stem can hold the flower and the fruits for proper pollination and dispersal. Then 3, the stem can conduct water and mineral salts from the roots to the leaves. So it acts as a pipe, transports the water and mineral salts from the roots to the leaves. Then 4, it transports food from the leaf to other parts of the plant. So the food which has been manufactured by the leaf must be transported by the stem to other parts of the plant. And we call that one translocation. Then 5, some stems store food for the plants. For example here, we have a cocoyam, we have sugar cane, we have sweet potatoes. Those ones store food for the plant. Then 6, some stems with chlorophyll can make food for the plant. Have you ever seen stems which are green? If a stem is green, that means it's able to carry out the process of photosynthesis. So my children, these are some of the functions of the stems to a plant. You must be having at least 4 of them on your fingertips. 4 of them on your fingertips. Then, in our next session, our stem is useful to man or animals specifically. Last time we saw for the roots and saw what roots do for us. Now this time we are looking at the stem. Can we make use of the stems? Yes. How are they useful? Let's go through this. Stem can be used as building materials. The trees are going to be cut into several pieces of timber, which are used for building houses and so on. 2, stem can be used for fuel such as firewood and charcoal. Of course, you will later on see how is charcoal made. So people cut the trees, chop the trees into pieces, and they make firewood. You cut the trees, chop them, cover them with soil, burn them under limited supply of oxygen, then you form the charcoal. So the charcoal you're using to cook your food is actually coming from stems. Then some stems are used as medicine, just like we saw for the roots. So stems have got very medicinal value in them. You could have those herbalists, they collect the stems of different plants, they mix them up, and they get medicine out of that. Stems are used as food for the animals. Not only animals, including man, we eat them. You I've already mentioned them here. Okay? Some stems are used as human food. Don't you eat Irish potato? Don't you like eating chips every now and then? Don't you like eating sugar cane every now and then? So those are stems we're eating. So basically, these are some of the uses of stems to animals and man. As we've already seen them here, building materials, used for fuel, some are used for medicine, food, and the food to animals and so on. So my children, have a look at that. You see the pieces of timber here? I see, are you seeing the roof there? Those are stems, that's wood. You see the people how they are going to get man out of that, the stem they have already cut there. They are taking the stem to the market for sale, and that is food, of course. That's man rather. Okay, so my children, I'm leaving the very simple activity this time. The questions are going to be 4. 1, which part of a stem grows into a new plant? 2, write any one function with stem to a plant. 3, name one plant that stores food in the stem. And lastly, name that part of the stem shown there. So thank you for being good children. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.